Welcome back to the Express at the Shaw Tower in downtown Vancouver. We're getting back to the basics with the Together is Amazing movement and our goal to fill food banks across the country. But we need your help. And so you know, Sean Campbell's are matching can for can. So 1 actually equals 3. We're also getting back to the basics with this next feature at a place in South Surrey where the past is kept alive.
In a quiet corner of South Surrey sits a home that takes you on a journey into the past.
We represent 1894 to 1913. So when you walk in the door, you are immediately taken back in time. You will learn how people lived then, what they did and how they did it. Up and down like this, and as you're doing it, you pull it all up out of the water.
Volunteers like Virginia and Barbara keep history alive for visitors to the Stewart farm.
Well, when I retired, I decided I'd like to do something. I saw an ad and thought, gee, that'd be fun. And it has been. This is my 16th year of volunteering.
I enjoy being dressed in costume. I enjoy being dressed like this.
Every room in the house is fully outfitted with period decor.
The first thing I would mention is the Stewart family Bible, this big Bible over here, which are the type that you open up with blank pages and all the Stewart history is written in there because that's what they did in those days.
This is the best place in the house because it's warm and there's lots of food in here. And then we show them the coffee, how to grind the coffee. We peel apples, and we go over and we look at the sink and show them that there's no running water, so they have to get their water from the pump, show them where they heat it on the stove and how they get it into the sink.
I would point out that the pictures on the wall are of John and Annie Stewart, the people who owned the farm and built this house in 1894.
And that house is still standing, bringing lessons and insights to visitors today.
It's important that we don't forget what people lived like in those days. Some of the children have never seen this type of house, and it's important for them to see that children in those days didn't need TV to have fun.
I'm Kendall Harris in Surrey for the Express.
Stewart Farm has a few special events coming up at the end of October. In honor of Halloween, they're holding a haunted farm and witchy fun. And you can get information at the website. Now, how's this for fun on today's Critter Care? We're talking manis and petties for your pets.
Petland's Critter Care is brought to you in part by Nutrients Pet Foods, online at nutrients.com.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Critter Care. We got a couple little critters here ourselves, and today we're chatting a bit about grooming, and more specifically, clipping nails, which I know is a challenge for many pet owners.
Well, really what I wanted to talk about today is how important grooming is as far as socializing your animal. And I think that's one thing that we don't consider enough, is that when we groom our dog or when we groom our cat, we're bonding with them. We're getting them used to being handled.
Yes.
And we're getting comfortable with them. And even, you know, it helps so much because then as I'm grooming my dog and I can comb them out and, you know, just get them used to all of this, then the other thing that it lets me do is it lets me handle their feet. And this is something that we don't do enough of. Yeah. We go to our dog or our cat that needs to get their nails clipped every, 2 months or so. And every 2 months we go and we grab their foot and they get all freaked out.
I put on gloves.
Every day when you groom your dog, and even if it's just for a couple minutes, make sure that you take their feet and you hold them and you pull their leg out a little bit and just get them used to having their legs handled and their feet handled so that when you do actually go to clip their nails, we're not all of a sudden freaking them out and it makes a big, huge thing. If you can get your dog to lie on his back without going crazy, that's a great trust thing as well. So those are just a few little tips as far as getting to the point where you can clip your pet's nails. And then clipping your pet's nails is really not such a hard thing. You just clip them. Have some styptic powder handy in case you clip it too close, but cats for the most part.
But there's a safety device on animal clippers too, right?
Some of them, yeah, but for the most part, dogs you'll just want to take the tips off just to make them not sharp. And cats, their nails are so easy because it goes like that and then it goes into that sharp talon part, and that's where you just want to clip that sharp talon part. with cats, the quick doesn't come out particularly far, so you can clip fairly far back on their nail and not have too much problem with that. Use proper clippers though, because you don't want to split their nail. That's one thing that we do want to watch out for.
Okay.
So really, the topic here was more how to get your cat or dog to the point where you can clip their nails than the actual clipping of their nails.
Here's my 2 tips. I sit my cat in my lap like this, and I also use my husband. So maybe like a friend or
Yes.
you know, a spouse. Sometimes it helps if you have another person there to do the job. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, thanks so much for the advice, Robert. Go get these guys' nails clipped, and we'll see you again next time on Critter Care.
Petland's Critter Care is brought to you in part by Nutrients Pet Foods, online at nutrients.com. Pets play an important role in our lives: companionship, health, well-being, love. PJAC Canada, helping our industry care for your pets. Critter Care is brought to you by PJAC.
Up next on The Express, immortalizing a Canadian icon.
It's at last truly recognizing her in a very prominent and monumental way.
This one is called a shore pine. They're both great trees to plant in your backyard.
Planting for a greener future. The Express. This is your local voice.
Here you are. This is the second time. Here, put this on this week. Okay. Be good. I love you.
Remembering is difficult, but even more difficult if you have Alzheimer's disease, a disease that affects the brain, erases memory, and eventually takes life. The Alzheimer's Society is fighting back. It provides support, information, and funds research into finding the cause and a cure. Until then, remember this.
Welcome back to The Express at the Shaw Tower in downtown Vancouver. Together is amazing. It's a goal and a movement to fill food banks across the country. But together can be expressed in many ways, like through an appreciation of art and a woman who wasn't afraid to do things her own way.
From a small maquette to a 1.5 life-size statue, our Emily is almost finished and ready to head home.
I'm just overwhelmed at the amazing artistry and the life that Barbara's captured, as well as with the casting and the finish that's going to happen with bronze art. It's truly a magnificent work.
You really don't think that anybody's going to improve your work because you're so perfect. But if you get into a foundry that works as well as these folks do, they do improve your work.
The Emily statue was commissioned by the Parks and Recreation Foundation of Victoria and has been in the works here at Bronze Art Casting in Calgary. It was created thanks to a number of fundraising efforts, including a $100,000 donation from Shaw Communications, which covered a quarter of the statue's cost.
We do love art, and we do support the art industry in Canada, and particularly in Western Canada more, because we're located there. And we just wanted to be a part of this project because, you know, it's like Emily, you know, coming back or back to life or back home, or that Victoria is her home.
They're absolutely critical for our communities because they add that different dimension of, yes, there's business and there's value and to the economy, but what it really does is inspire and add to our spirit, and that was one of Emily's great gifts to our community.
Emily will eventually lie on the grounds of the historic Empress Hotel. She will be unveiled at a ceremony in Victoria mid-October. Nicole Fletcher, Shaw TV, Calgary.
Watch in the coming weeks as we track our Emily in bronze and get the last leg of her journey. Right now we go from appreciating art to protecting the earth. On our youth-produced segment Gen Y, they're getting their hands dirty in Surrey's Bear Creek Park, helping keep our earth clean.
School is back in session, and while most teens are still sound asleep on a Saturday morning, we found a group of teens that are getting one with nature in Bear Creek Park.
I've been part of the Surrey Youth Stewardship Squad for 2 years, and every event I've started to love the environment more and more. So, you know, being part of the environment, just helping out has been one of my passions.
Thank you for all your beautiful planting today.
The Surrey Youth Stewardship Squad is a volunteer program that's aimed at high school aged youth in Surrey, and it's a volunteer program where we hold regular drop-in events where youth can come out and do great things to help the environment, like plant trees like we're doing here today, remove invasive plants from our parks, help with special events, and do a lot of fun things outdoors. It's amazing how teens turn this empty wetland into a beautiful new forest. Last year we were here and this whole area was a patch of grass, and we've turned it into a forest. Trees are important for a lot of reasons. They provide habitat for wildlife like birds, they help clean our air and make the city a more healthy place for us to live, and they also make it a more beautiful place to live.
It's good to help on the environment because you feel good about it, and then you also help the environment out too.
Yeah, it's definitely important to plant more trees since we're taking over the forest and cutting them down and building houses for ourselves. So it's good to plant them back and give back to nature.
Watching the youth work so hard inspired me to plant a tree of my own.
So is this where I get the trees? Definitely. We've got 2 different kinds of trees here today. This one is called a Douglas maple. This one is called a shore pine. They're both great trees to plant in your backyard, so help yourself.
I want to make the environment around me a greener place, and I want to give back to my community so we can protect wildlife and keep the fresh air like we have here in Bear Creek Park.
The future is our teens and kids, and if they don't know about planting trees and stuff, they'll just throw the garbage, and then there will be no nature, then habitats of animals will be extinct.
Besides making a positive difference, there are many other reasons youth should volunteer in their community.
The community gives so much to us, we should always give back to it. And it's really fun, and you build life skills like teamwork and leadership, and it's a way to represent yourself.
It's great to put on a resume that they've done this kind of volunteer work. If they're applying for things like scholarships to get into colleges and universities, having done some volunteer work really helps with that. It also gives them a bit of exposure to something that they might be interested in pursuing as a career. I wanted to get a better view of the newly planted trees, so I went up in a tree pruning truck. There is no doubt that the view up here would be as beautiful without the trees. This is Kirsten signing out for Gen Y on the Express.
Gen Y is brought to you by Options, Surrey Community Services Society. Gen Y is a Shaw TV Access segment. The youth reporters are all volunteers who have an interest in broadcasting and in the local community. And that's what we're interested in as well. It's time for the Express Spotlight. Caleb's Hope is an organization dedicated to helping women and children affected by war, poverty, and HIV/AIDS. The gala will also feature a silent auction and a wine cellar raffle. Tea, vintage fashion, fine craft, and even croquet. Highcroft Manor encourages you to put on your maddest hat and take part in some tea leaf reading to show your support for the Craft Council of BC. The West Coast Women's Show marks its 10th annual year in Abbotsford with more than 450 booths and displays, one-of-a-kind features, and celebrity presentations. And of course, Together is amazing. You can be part of the movement. Just drop off a donation of food or cash at any Shaw location across the country. Also coming up is the Public Dream Society's Parade of Lost Souls. So we're going to leave you with a look at a magical fundraiser for that event, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.